2018 Bentley Flying Spur Review. The good points of Bentley Flying Spur: huge presence, pace and prestige. Effortless performance, particularly W12. Acres of room, a great VIP express. The bad points of Bentley Flying Spur: dated multimedia system and controls. Newer rivals pack far more tech. W12 offers few advantages over V8. Considering it's an entry-level model, few individuals would ever need more when compared to a Bentley Flying Spur. It occupies a rarefied devote the market. It's somewhat more expensive than supremely capable limos, such as Audi A8, BMW 7 Series, Jaguar XJ and Mercedes-Benz class. But is a thing of a bargain in comparison with the similarly sized Rolls-Royce Ghost. So, that places the Flying Spur within a good position, then? It does, but Bentley isn't getting its laurels. It's been afflicted by continuous improvements since launch in 2013, and will come in two varieties, the V8 and W12 engine models. Although the engines and transmissions are bristling with technology, the entire body and interior retain an abundance of old-world Bentley charm. The company describes the Flying Spur as having effortless drivability and exquisite luxury, and that we won't argue here. But could it be enough because there are many cheaper alternatives vying for the investment? We've compared the Bentley Flying Spur using the Rolls-Royce Ghost. Bentley Flying Spur styling and engineering. Few would argue out of this being an extremely handsome car. The styling echoes earlier generations with the company's saloons, with carefully sculpted flanks, beautiful detailing across the front and rear, and this all-important meshed radiator grille. The good-looking nose houses weapons-grade firepower. We'll start using the 6.0-liter twin-turbocharged W12 version. With 625 horsepower on tap and 635 horsepower in S form, that is a limousine which will keep your average supercar honest, a minimum of until the bends. Performance figures are impressive. It'll do 0-62 miles per hour in 4.6 seconds and powers to a maximum speed of 200 miles per hour given that most rivals are on a 155 miles per hour. That provides Bentley owners pub bragging rights. The V8 isn't too shabby, either. The 4.0-liter twin-turbo develops 507 horsepower in standard form, which rises to 528 horsepower with the V8s. That's perfect for 0-62 miles per hour in 5.2 seconds as well as a maximum of 185 miles per hour. What these figures don't explain to you is just how comfortable and effortless the Flying Spur is always to drive. Despite its sporting image, Bentley were able to make the ride as pillow-soft as is possible, because of air suspension. The seats as comfortable as they possibly can be and also the interior a benchmark for luxury. Bentley Flying Spur equipment. Equipment-wise, the Flying Spur offers plenty. There's a touchscreen multimedia system with SatNav and mobile connectivity including Wi-Fi. It looks distinctly off the pace, even weighed against parent company Volkswagen Group's offerings in a lot more modest models. It can't be some time before it gets an overhaul on this department. If you're planning to spend time and effort relaxing in the back seats, a handheld control is available, which controls the infotainment, heating and ventilation functions. An 8-channel, 8-speaker stereo audio is installed as standard, however, you can go for a far more powerful 1 kW system in case you so desire. At extra expense, obviously. That's the way it is with individual rear seats, the champagne cooler, and manner of other fixtures and fittings. Check the equipment section below for any full shabby of what you have with your Flying Spur. The verdict. The Bentley Flying Spur may be getting on in numerous departments, yet it is still a wonderful car, along with the world would have been a duller place without one. It may be in line with the previous generation Continental GT's platform, as well as its engine and transmission option is shared with it, nonetheless it has a bruising character every one of its own. With four-wheel drive offered throughout the range, it's more of any driver's car than its gargantuan dimensions would make you expect. So, it comes to whether you wish the fast and thirsty V8, or ballistic and dipsomaniac W12. Either way, you are getting each of the road presence you leave or must clear the outside lane of your busy M1. But it's not without its faults. The infotainment is shockingly from the pace, and well behind where it must be. Given that a Volkswagen Golf is very far ahead of the items offered here, noting that you can't even sync your iPhone into it easily, or connect USB devices into it, therefore you'll see this isn't sufficient. We'd also believe that the handling isn't as precise as it may be, a truth that is some way compensated by excellent ride quality. Would we recommend one? Yes, the Bentley Flying Spur is really a great statement, and makes its occupants feel too special indeed. Not a rational choice, then, but an incredibly easily justified one. Find out whether this sporty limousine will fit your lifestyle by watching the Bentley Flying Spur Saloon review. Up to 635 horsepower easily obtainable in W12 guise. More efficient V8s sound sportier. Twin turbos whichever you end up picking. The Bentley Flying Spur emerges with two engine options. If you are looking for any cutting-edge hybrid or low CO2 emitting diesel, then go elsewhere. There's two petrols, which are twin turbocharged from the interests of maximum power and torque. The Bentley Flying Spur V8. Introduced to the Flying Spur in 2014, the twin-turbo 4.0-liter V8 was obviously a first step into downsizing at Bentley that thankfully hasn't gone much. The entry-level model is clearly not much of a poverty edition, so that you still get that lovely effortless push that you simply expect inside a Bentley. It's quiet at idle, and pleasingly insulated, and not so much which you don't arrive at experience its delicious exhaust when you have the opportunity to put your foot down. You're well catered for regarding performance, with 507 horsepower developed at 6,000 revolutions per minute, and 660 Nm of torque from just 1,400 revolutions per minute. You receive lots of instant, low-down thrust. Nevertheless, it doesn't deplete all of your steam because the revs rise. That you can get a maximum speed of 183 miles per hour, plus a 0.62 miles per hour period of 5.2 seconds. The V8's additional 21 horsepower bringing the ideal up to 528 horsepower shaves the 0.62 miles per hour time right down to 4.9 seconds, and maximum speed rises to 190 miles per hour. Both sound fabulous, and also you'll never get fed up with its delicious exhaust note. Despite everything performance, it's easily one of the most economical from the range. Thanks to cylinder deactivation technology, a state combined fuel consumption is 25.9 miles per gallon, which isn't too shabby in any respect. The Bentley Flying Spur W12, the spectacular flagship. This engine may have been around quite some time, but we never become bored of recounting the fact it makes this in a 199 miles per hour car. It develops 800 Nm and 625 horsepower with the ultimate mid-range punch. With a 40/60 rearward biased torque split because of its four-wheel drive system, You'll never feel overwhelmed by that power. With 635 horsepower, the W12S gets reaches 202 miles per hour a tad bit more comprehensively, but that could not be enough to counter the reality that even in comparison with the Flying Spur V8S, that is one thirsty car. The average combined fuel consumption dips to 19.2 miles per gallon and CO2 emissions rise to 343 gkm. All models purchase an 8-speed automatic gearbox that is smooth and seamless with regards to swapping gear ratios. It's a highly geared setup in each case, keeping revs low when cruising within the motorway. Heaviness blunts outright agility. Four-wheel drive enhances traction. Air suspension delivers poise. The Bentley Flying Spur is primarily set up for ride comfort, but it's good inside bends, too. And although it's no Golf GTI, it might be hustled along quite quickly from the right hands, and assuming the VIP from the back will not mind. You cannot get away in the fact this can be a heavy car, well more than 2 tons from 2,425 kilograms. You're constantly reminded of the company's size and heft over the wheel, and thus as long as you feed it progressively into bends, and therefore are smooth with all of the controls, it's going to change direction quickly. But you don't get much when it comes to feedback with the wheel. There's an abundance of traction, nevertheless, you can't go feeling because of it, since the steering won't really inform you much about what's taking between the wheels plus the road. Think of it as an auto to direct and trust in, to not have a sizzling drive on the broad. Four-wheel drive traction in tight spots. So, it might be that communicative, but due to its well-set-up suspension and four-wheel drive traction, due to feel unsure how it's about to respond whenever you do ramp up speeds on winding back roads. Traction and road holding are very impressive. In the UK, where this indicates terrain 300 days from the year, this genuinely does make a difference to driver confidence. Whether that you want to transport huge speed through wet bends in that large car can be another matter, however it's good to learn you can when you need to. Beautifully built cabin. Feels slightly outdated. Fine visibility levels. It's here how the Bentley feels really special. Given the belief that the Flying Spur is definitely as much about its passengers because driver, fortunately that it's of the same quality in the back as it is the leading. But for your driver, it's a pleasure to use some of this car's gloriously traditional controls, like its chrome-plated air vents or milled transmission selector. The driving position is extremely good, having a high, commanding view outside, and plenty of practical stowage space to call upon. But where it scores overall its opponents may be the quality on the materials used, from your leather within the seats, throughout the thick carpets towards the lustrous wood cappings. This is the traditional-feeling luxury car. It's for sale in both 4 and 5-seat configurations, along with the Flying Spur gets supremely supportive front and back seats trimmed in top-quality quilted leather. The fronts get 14-way adjustment including memory and lumbar functions, even though the rears can be obtained with multiple adjustments, depending within the options ticked. Every occupant is provided seat heating and also ventilation, while additional stowage sections are incorporated towards the rear on the front seats. For the 4-seat variant, the center console sweeps from top to a corner cabin and introduces one more large cubby area trimmed in veneer to fit the car. Cassetting suspension, controlled damping. Big, supportive, well-trimmed seats. Rear seat comfort is exemplary. The Bentley Flying Spur is usually a fast car, and has now grippy on-limit handling. Nevertheless, its major strength is obviously its comfort, both back and front. Bentley's largest markets, China along with the Middle East, like soft-treading cars, which setup reflects that. Following on the previous generation Bentley Continental Flying Spur, it offers 10% and 13% more compliant air suspension settings front and back. This is echoed while using anti-roll bars and bushes, too, which combine to generate a pillow-soft, but well-controlled suspension setup, also due to well-judged dampers. Air suspension perfectly tailored for passenger comfort. And it's really a great air suspension system to help with typically rough UK roads. Most with the time it rides smoothly, leaving the passengers in a very capsule of serenity. Nevertheless, for those who enjoy driving, it's probably best not leaving to use softest setting. You do feel some with the worst potholes in excess of you would in the Mercedes-Benz class, but overall, it's an extremely impressive effort. And as to the seats, they are large, beautifully stitched, wonderfully shaped, and you will probably happily spend hours in the individual without a trace of discomfort. 2 engines, 2 states of tunes for each and every. All feel luxurious, but cutting-edge tech is absent. Wide array of personalization options to tailor the car. Comprising of 4 models which has a choice of 4.0 and 6.0-liter twin-turbo engines, the Flying Spur range is not difficult and straightforward. But with an extensive choice of personalization options, it is also easy to buy one to match your every need. Standard Bentley Flying Spur saloon equipment. Well, it is not really fair to explain it as standard. That is a car that comes reasonably well equipped, but is ideal for a near-endless personalization. For a cost, certainly. The entry-level Flying Spur could be the V8, where you have a number of colors with the outside, and trims and veneers within. The standard fit alloys are 20 inches, and you will get black brake calipers, twin Figuria Fate exhausts, a chroma look grille, Bixenon headlamps with LED main beam and red badging. Standard equipment. Exterior paint, choice of 7 exterior paint colors. Wheels, 19-inch classic alloy wheels painted. Radiator grille, bright front radiator matrix grille. Lower bumper grille, black lower bumper grille and black wing insert. Exterior badges, red B badging on radiator shell, boot lid and wheels. Headlights, Bixenon projector headlamps with LED signature daylight running lamps, LED main beam supplementation, integrated washer jets. Taillights, full LED rear lamps with jewelry effect inner lamp treatment. Tailpipes, twin Figuria Fate stainless tailpipes. Leather colors, choice of 4 premium grade hide interior colors, Beluga, Imperial Blue, Porpoise, Newmarket Tan. Headlining, Iliade cloth headlining. Veneer, dark fiddleback eucalyptus. Steering wheel, singletone, 3-spoke, hide trim leader. Gear selector, hide and chrome trimmed gear lever. Seat configuration, 5-seat rear bench system with straight flute seat design. Infotainment system, front screen infotainment system with 8.0-inch high-definition screen, 8-channel, 8-speaker stereo audio with balanced mode radiator BMR speakers. Moving up a quantity, we move to your V8s, which as well as its additional 21 horsepower, you buy a black mesh grille and similarly hued chrome highlights, and red brake calipers. Moving for the W12, which can be simply referred to as Flying Spur, increases your collection of interior veneers and also a different exhaust tailpipe. The story could be the same with all the W12's engined model, with increased options regarding trims and colors, together with diamond quilted leather, a hide headlining and alloy pedals. Optional Bentley Flying Spur saloon extras. Although the Flying Spur is dear to begin with, you'll be able to spend somewhat more money using a raft of personalization options. A new Bentley specialist are able to talk you through options which will help come resale time, so proceed with caution. Choice of optional 20 and 21-inch wheels in numerous finishes. Choice of extended range paints. Jewel effect fuel and oil filler caps. Privacy glass to rear screen and rear side windows. Electric glass tilt and slide sunroof whistles. Bright tint aluminum fascia and door waist rails. Knurled gear selector with leather. Veneered picnic tables with or without optional vanity mirrors. Contemporary style crossbanding to fascia and door waist rails limited when selected with burr walnut or chestnut veneers. Chrome inlay to door waist rails. Sports, duotone, 3-spoke, high-rime leader. Steering column mounted gear selectors. Contrast stitching. Deep pile-over mats to back and front. NIM audio. Adaptive cruise control. Wi-Fi hotspot. Twin front armrests. Refrigerated bottle cooler. Refrigerated bottle cooler with frosted glass and bespoke crystal champagne flutes by Mulliner. Mulliner driving specification. The Mulliner driving specification expands your personalization options, but in a tasteful way, with full factory support. It includes additional methods of both exterior and interior. The options include 20-inch 6-spoke alloy wheels with graphite and diamond-turned finish, diamond quilted seats and door panels with perforated hide. There's also an knurled sports gear selector and drilled alloy sports pedals. Not crashed by Euro NCAP. Based on VW Group technology. All models feature all-wheel drive. The Bentley Flying Spur has not yet been crash tested by Euro NCAP, and unlikely ever to get. But does that mean it's unsafe? Of course not. Parent company Volkswagen Group has based this car on a number of the company's existing technologies, and as such it is possible to be assured which it adheres to probably the most stringent standards. In absolute terms, it's probably up there using the previous generation Audi A8 or Volkswagen Phaeton with regards to passive safety protection, so, not innovative, but sufficiently strong to capably care for its occupant if the worst happen. LED lighting technology also ensures you're easily seen by other road users. An impressive 475-liter boot capacity. Seats 5 or 4 while using optional champagne chiller. Luxury finishes don't promote practicality. Although it's actually not for us to mention how you're gonna, there's every chance that rear seat room and comfort is going to be of paramount importance. Overall, it's adequate to carry for a near-outrageous luxury, that is this car's raison d'etre. There's a decent amount of cabin space in contrast to other cars with this segment. Living using a Flying Spur on the daily basis wouldn't prove a chore either. There's enough storage space, with sensible cubbies dotted in regards to the cabin. Your main issue are going to be not wanting to damage the high-quality wood veneers, deep carpet and leather finishes. You'd expect the boot for being enormous to service the requirements those VIPs from the back. With 475 liters of boot space, it's actually not massive, understanding that's compromised further should you option it that has a champagne chiller.